Very warm welcome to all our enthusiastic attendees here for one more of the webinars in the Jamnabai Narsee Education series. I can't help but sound repetitive when I reiterate the idea I shared with you at our last webinar, something that was so inspiringly shared by the very wise Sadhguruji, that we must, during this period of the lockdown, focus on upgradation as far as our intellectual, physical, emotional, and energetic faculties are concerned. And it's just with exactly that foresight that the Jamnabai Narsee Education series platform was created, bringing to your homes these webinars, taking you through a variety of topics, through the most absolutely best of the eminent speakers that have been very kind in accepting our requests to come and talk to you right here. And for that, we owe particular thanks to our trustee, Mr. Sujay Jairaj, who made this possible through his tremendous foresight. Along with the rest of the management at the Narsee Monji Educational Trust, it is he who conceptualized these webinars that we have been constantly benefiting from so much while in the safety of our homes. We're very excited to bring to you our eminent speaker today, who specializes in non-destructive Vastu. His reputation precedes him. We all know too well that Rasesh Shah does not need a formal introduction. It is my privilege, nevertheless, to remind the attendees of the fact that it was Rasesh Bhai's firm that was the first one to claim that Vastu is incomplete without astrology. And today, after 2 decades, it has become an industry norm. His remedies are in sync with today's time and age. He believes that instrumentation is the key. He can guide people on how to be precise and exact because of that. With the energy measuring instruments that he uses, it's so easy for him to identify negative energy and also quantify the changes once the remedy is applied. I have been told by him in the few conversations that I was lucky to have with Rasesh Bhai that his focus during this webinar is not going to be on the science and the be able to cater to people's needs during this time of population crisis, where everybody all over the world has so many things on their mind. Rasesh Bhai is going to expertly take us through this webinar, offering very practical, easy to follow tips to do with working from home, space cleansing, studies during COVID times, and striking the work-life balance. He's hit the nerve so well on exactly what we are looking for. So without any further ado, over to you, Rasesh Bhai. I would only like to quickly add to for our attendees' sake, do send in any questions that you may have using the Q&A feature so that they can be suitably presented to Rasesh Bhai and answered for you. Over to you, Rasesh Bhai.
Thank you so much for the lovely and energetic introduction, Sonali ma'am. Good morning, respected teachers. Good morning, everyone. I would like to begin by thanking the trustees of the school, Shri Jairaj Bhai Thakkar and Sujay Jairaj, for conceptualizing this wonderful initiative. I feel deeply privileged and honored to be invited here as a speaker. Thank you, Zenat Miss, and thank you, Sonali ma'am, again. We are all going through an unprecedented crisis. And this crisis has thrown so many challenges at us that it calls for a major reset. We all have to push that reset button in our lives to face the crises head on. You know, our Prime Minister, few days ago, in the context of the migrants crisis, said that it is a natural instinct of a human being to go back home when faced with crises. Why did he say that? Because home is the ultimate panacea. Home is the ultimate antidote. And that is exactly what we are going to discuss today. I'm going to explain to you how our homes can be instrumental in facilitating good health, prosperity, and harmonious relationships. So, I don't want to go into the details and the nitty-gritties and the technicalities and the intricacies of the science of Vastu, but I want to share 19 very effective, powerful, life-changing Vastu tips. Now, why 19? Why not 18 or 20? That is what the question should be. 19 tips because the name of this deadly virus is COVID-19. And these 19 Vastu tips will combat COVID-19. So, work from home is the new normal. So before we go into it on a lighter note, there are different connotations to this, new normal. What does it mean? So, there's this client of mine who heads the sales department. He's a corporate, and he was telling me that there was a town hall meeting going on, and the directors of the company and the CEO and everyone was present, and he was about to deliver his sales pitch, and in the background something happened. Typical Indian households. So there was this piercing sound of a pressure cooker whistle that came in the background. And he was so embarrassed. He was so embarrassed. He told me that I couldn't sleep that night. But this is what happens. I mean, and this is going to happen. We all will have to accept it. So this is a typical India problem. In the West, I was watching Al Jazeera a few days back, and there was this reporter somewhere in Europe. He was reporting from his home. While he was reporting, his child entered the room and started playing with him. And you could see the embarrassment on his face. The nanny came in and tried to pull the child, but the child refused to go. Children are children. But this is the new normal. So yes, work from home is the new normal, and fortunately, we will hope that we are able to, come. I mean, we are able to come up with some cure, medicine, or an antidote very soon. But at this point in time, it looks a little difficult. And because work from home is a new normal, it is so important from a Vastu perspective to face the right direction. All professionals, like teachers, people who are into any technical field, people who are in a field which is knowledge driven, engineers, IT professionals, software engineers, they should invariably face the east. East is the direction for them. Businessmen, entrepreneurs, people who are into finance, chartered accountants, investors, people who buy and sell, people who are traders, people who are into manufacturing will face the north. दो दिशाएं बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. जो प्रोफेशनल्स हैं वो पूर्व को देखेंगे, और जो बिजनेसमैन हैं, जो खुद का व्यवसाय करते हैं, जो खुद का व्यापार करते हैं, वो उत्तर की तरफ देखेंगे. East is the direction of knowledge. North is the direction of finance. I repeat, East is the direction of knowledge. North is the direction of finance. So somebody who is involved in an activity which is knowledge driven, should face the northeast. If somebody is in a business where he's invested his own money, okay, and that business has got to do with IT or with software, then that individual, that person will face the northeast to get the benefits of both the directions. So, see, this is the novel, the chopper. Okay, facing the right direction itself is not enough. You know, Vastu, though I did not define Vastu in the beginning, because I did not want to go into the origin and the ancient scriptures and from where did it what in what period did this science gain relevance, and the ancient scriptures like Mayamatam and Mansara and Vishwakarma Prakash and the interpretation of these shastras and how we can how architecturally we are living in a very different time and age and how we have to modulate the principles and kind of change them so that they are in sync with today's time and age. I did not go into all that. But I would want to give you a single line, one line definition of Vastu is. Vastu is the science of energy which influences our luck factor. That's the sum and substance of it. And this definition is my experience of last 2 decades. This is what I have concluded because every day is a new day in Vastu. These energies are so mysterious. These subtle energy fields, some of the energy radiations are intangible. They are microscopic. It is very difficult to understand these radiations straight away. You have to work with these vibrations, with these energy radiations, and then you have to conclude. So this is what my conclusion is, that Vastu is the science of energy which influences our luck factor. So when I say science of energy, what I mean is that it is not only the direction that has to be considered, but with the direction, there are other unseen forces which are at play all around us. हमारे इर्द गिर्द वो सारी ऊर्जाएं हैं जो हम देख नहीं पाते, लेकिन वो ऊर्जा हमारे मस्तिष्क पे, हमारा जो आभामंडल है, the aura that we have, it has a very strong impact on that. So facing the right direction is one thing, but with that, you need to understand that where you sit, how you sit also plays a very important role. So let us assume that you are facing the east or the north, which is the right direction, but you are sitting in a doorway. Now, what does that mean? For a moment, I would want to share an image with you. Now, this is what sitting in the door line means. If you can look at this image, there is a door. The desk is in the line of the door. The chair is also in the line of the door. This is a negative way or a negative position to sit from a Vastu perspective. One should avoid, one should refrain, to place the chair and the desk in the door line. This creates a lot of disturbance. The reason is that door line, this area that you see here, is an area where the movement of energy is very swift. It is a high energy zone. But because it is too much energy, it is difficult to withstand that energy. And the problem with sitting in a door line is that the efficiency goes for a toss. You may work the right way, you may put in the required number of hours, but what happens is that because the movement of energy is such, it is very piercing, it hits you. Never sit in a door line. Also, never sit with your back, look at this image, with your back facing the door. This is also very negative. One should avoid this position where the desk is placed in a manner where your back is in the line of the door. Never ever do that. Also, this is the third image that I would want to share. Here you will see this guy sitting on a sofa. The door is hitting the sofa on his sides, which is again negative. which is again detrimental. If he's doing any constructive, any productive work, the work goes for a toss. So these are the three negative, very negative positions. Also, one needs to be careful not to sit under a beam. So again, look at the image. If you see the red dotted lines here, this guy is sitting exactly under the beam. So this is a double whammy for him. The door is cutting him, he's sitting in a door line, and at the same time, there is a beam. There is a huge beam, there is a protruded beam under which he's sitting. Now, why is beam negative, and why it is considered negative to sit under a beam? So beam is that horizontal membrane up in the ceiling, which is constructed to take the weight of the floor above. And with the gravity, the energy that it generates, the weight that it generates down gets accentuated, it gets multiplied. So when you sit under a beam, your electromagnetic field is disrupted. So never ever sit under a beam. Because it is work from home and we try to, laze around a bit, and we are working at our own rhythm and at our own pace, sometimes it happens that, unknowingly we may lean against a bathroom wall, or sometimes the chair on which you are sitting may touch the bathroom wall. This again is very, very negative. If you are doing any constructive, productive work, any work where you want results, do not sit with your back or your chair facing the bathroom, touching the bathroom wall, I'm sorry. Because bathroom wall is the wall of disintegrating energy. Any work that you do tends to get drained off if you are touching the bathroom wall. Never ever touch the bathroom wall. So let's recap these 4 valuable tips for work from home. Working professionals will face the east, or businessmen will face the north. Not to sit in a door line, and not to sit under a beam. Also, not to sit in a manner where your back or chair is touching the bathroom wall. So we are all at our homes, and it is a situation where all our activities are happening from home. So it is so important that we constantly keep on nullifying the negative energy in our homes. So there is a process of space cleansing. From the time since this outbreak has happened, we've been constantly sanitizing ourselves. We've been hand washing, and we've been sanitizing our environment, and we've been following all the World Health Organization protocols. But do you know that there is a process of energy sanitization?
Rasesh bhai, may I just interrupt for a moment?
Yes.
Would you prefer to take the questions while we've been taken through the modules that you have designed, or at the end?
So, whatever is comfortable. So,
if you don't want me to interrupt your chain of thought, we can keep going. But we have a couple of questions based on the work from home tips that you have already shared.
Sonali ma'am, I would just want to finish once, and then we will.
Sure.
Yeah. So there is a process of energy sanitization, which is extremely effective in today's time of crisis. What is energy sanitization? Now, energy sanitization is a process where we detoxify the negative energy which is inherently present in our homes. It is a process of space purgation. It is a process of space detoxification. This comes with a disclaimer. These tips that I'm about to share are only supportive in nature. Please continue following the World Health Organization protocols of sanitizing and hand washing and rest of the things that we do. Take lukewarm water. Add some salt to it. Begin from the northeast, come to the southeast, come to the southwest, and to the northwest in a clockwise manner. ईशान से आग्नेय, आग्नेय से नैऋत्य, नैऋत्य से वायव्य. Splash, sprinkle that water, the lukewarm water, in these four corners. Then repeat the exercise with room temperature water. Again, add some salt to it. Begin from the northeast, go to the southeast, come to the southwest, and finally to the northwest. This is one of the most powerful remedies to cleanse whatever is negative at the level of energy in our homes. And this will also instantly enhance the auric field of our homes. This will also boost the immunity of our homes. Inundate your homes. Sorry, Sonali ma'am, something. Inundate your homes with sunlight. The biggest problem today is that people don't open their windows. Sunlight, and the morning sunlight is so important. You know, morning sunlight is therapeutic. It cures, it heals, it is curative. It also increases the production of the happy hormone, in our systems, which is called as serotonin. That is why in countries where, there is less sunlight, or sun is only seen about 4-5 months in a year, there are huge cases of depression because they are sunlight deprived. We are very fortunate, we are very lucky, we live in a tropical country where sunlight is in abundance. Allow sunlight to come. Open the windows on the east and on the north side. Morning sun is a natural disinfectant. It can again spruce up the energy levels of the house. There are instances where people don't have openings on the east side or on the north side. I keep on going to places, so I know sometimes there are very less windows or few windows, and even if they have windows, there is a tall structure which blocks the path of the sunlight. If that is the case, let the evening sun. Evening sun and afternoon sun is a bit dicey and problematic because the level of UV radiations are very high. But exactly 1 hour before sunset, the level of UV radiations drop. And that is the time you can allow the sunlight to enter. This remedy will naturally spruce up, enhance, increase the energy levels in your homes. And it is free of cost. You don't have to spend anything on it. Chanting of Om and Gayatri Mantra. Chanting of Om and Gayatri Mantra in conjunction with lighting a diya. In conjunction with lighting a diya in odd number, again, is a very powerful tool to enhance the immunity of your homes. Very powerful. There is a reason why I said Gayatri Mantra twice. We've been experimenting on various mantras, and our experimentation has shown that Gayatri Mantra has the ability not only to cleanse the environment, our external environment, but it also increases the aura, it also increases the auric field of an individual who is reciting that mantra. And if you light a diya or a candle or a small flame, the vibrations which have been created by reciting that mantra, it spreads, it kind of overlaps your homes. Again, a very important tip. Gayatri and Om in conjunction with lighting a diya. The southwest corner or the southwest quadrant of your homes can be used for a very powerful astro remedy. In astrology, they say that there is a particular planet which causes uh, health issues, which causes health problems, and that planet has an influence in the southwest corner of our homes. Each corner of our homes is controlled and governed by a particular planet. The remedy is to switch on a bulb in the southwest corner. Put on a light in the southwest corner. If you don't have a point in the ceiling, a floor lamp will do. If the southwest corner is not possible due to whatever reason, southwest quadrant will do. But ensure that you keep one light on in the southwest quadrant or the southwest corner, wherever it is possible. If it is not possible for 24 hours because there could be a bedroom in that quadrant or in that corner, do it between sunset till the time you go to sleep. If that is not possible, please put the light on during the daytime. Use a 0-watt bulb. Don't worry about electricity being used or wasted. But it is a very powerful protection, astro protection. It is an astro remedy, like how we chant mantras or wear a gemstone or do havans and pujas and give dan as astro remedies. This is a Vastu astro remedy. The last tip for space purgation. If the doors in your house creak, अगर आपके दरवाजे में से किसी भी प्रकार की कर्कश आवाज आ रही है, तो उसे आप immediately ठीक करें. Lubricate the hinges, oil the hinges. It is, people take this very normally. I go to homes, offices, and I keep on hearing that noise, that disturbing sound that emanates from the hinges of the doors. It becomes very normal. Doors creak. That is what people think. But here I would want to bring to your notice, this is a very strange phenomena. Where do you hear this sound, this disturbing noise of the door creaking? If you watch spooky movies or if you watch spooky TV series, okay, it is such an inevitable part of their script. If it is a spooky horror movie that we are watching, whenever the door opens or a window opens, you will hear that creaky sound. And it has a subconscious connection because the moment we hear that creaking sound, we get scared. Then also we don't realize and we let that sound keep on coming from our homes. So creaking sound actually attracts negative energy. It disturbs the energy equilibrium in the house, and there is a loss of opportunity also. So please ensure that you lubricate the hinges of the doors. Work from home, space cleansing, and now studies from home is again a new normal. And you'll be surprised to know, it's been now close to 2 months, the number of calls that I have received from anxious parents, regarding their children's study, outweighs the number of calls that I've received for work and business and other related issues. I don't know why are parents so anxious regarding their children's future. It's unbelievable. They've got the best time. The children particularly live their lives on a treadmill these days. They are constantly running. They are, we want our children to learn and learn. But why so much emphasis on learning? I mean, it is so important to understand one's own self also. I mean, it is not only learning in today's time, but we will have to relearn, unlearn, we'll have to reset, refocus, restart. We'll have to do so many things. But every parent is anxious that he wants his child to learn something new. Uh, there are very basic tips when it comes to studying, because according to me, studying is not only getting results. Studying is a far bigger phenomena than that. So from a Vastu perspective, if I have to give tips on how to study rightly, there are four parts to study: attention, retention, staying put at one place, and getting your brains or minds stimulated, so that that constant urge to ask questions, to learn, that curiosity factor remains very high. The best direction for anyone to study, not only children, but also adults, the best direction to study is east. Like I said earlier, east is the direction of knowledge. But when it comes to studying, there has been this fascinating research on the directions that we face and the impact of the vibratory field of that direction on our brains. So scientists who study brains and brain waves and the neurons and other things, they have concluded that when someone faces east has a very powerful energy radiation that keeps on happening, because this is the direction of sunrise. The neurons in the brain fire differently, and the child is able to absorb things like a sponge. The child is able to retain. The child is able to memorize things properly. East is the direction for studies. East is the direction for studies. Also, so this is we've attention. Sorry, we've covered retention. Now attention is also a very important integral part of our studies. So if you want your child to be attentive when he's studying, ensure that he sits in the northeast quadrant of your homes. Which is the northeast quadrant? How do you identify the northeast quadrant? It is very simple. If you take a magnetic compass, these days all smartphones have magnetic compass. If you see the magnetic compass, okay, there is 0 or 360 degree written on the compass. That is where the magnetic north is. From 360 degrees to 65 degrees, so right from north to northeast, which is at 45 degrees, to the east of northeast, which is up to 65 degrees, your child can sit in that quadrant anywhere. And he will sit there with total attention. The vibration or the vibratory field of the northeast quadrant is magnetic. It compels your child to sit and to study there for a very long time. So east is the direction that your child will face, and northeast is the quadrant in which the study room or the study desk should be placed. Now I keep on, every now and then I keep on hearing this, that the child wants to study. He wants to focus, he wants to be attentive, but somehow he's not able to. And something happens, he feels very irritated, very agitated, he cannot concentrate. What could be the reason? This is one complaint that I keep on getting. The sharp edges of the desk on which your child is studying could be responsible for this. It plays a very important role. It is a very minuscule thing, because sharp edges is something very normal, where you've used veneer or where you've used laminates. So there will be, if you look at the corners, the sharp edges will be there. Now, just in case if there are sharp edges on the desk or on the table on which your child is studying, there is no way you can call a carpenter and ask him to blunt it off or round it off. In today's time, most of the societies don't allow any outside person to come. It's strictly prohibited. What you can do is, these e-commerce sites have these protectors, sharp edges protectors available. These protectors are very easy to use. You just have to fix it. The moment you fix the protectors, the sharp edges will get camouflaged. Not only will it get camouflaged, but the piercing energy, that sharp energy movement that was happening from the sharp edges will completely get nullified. And that thing, will help your child to stay put. He would want to spend time on his desk in his study room. Now, the most important part, the remedy for stimulating the brain, the mind. It is one of the most important aspects. How do you stimulate the brain rightly from a Vastu perspective? You will be amazed to know that colors play a very important role. रंग हमारे मस्तिष्क को आंदोलित कर सकते हैं. And if we use the right colors, having the right wavelengths, they can not only give us that feel good factor, but they have the power to stimulate certain parts in our brain which are responsible for learning, for retaining, for memorizing. The prefrontal cortex, the hippocampus, the cerebellum gets rightly activated if we use orange and yellow in moderation. You have to use a tinge of orange and yellow in moderation in the study. Now the next question is that, how are we going to paint our walls with that color? You don't have to paint your walls with orange and yellow. You just have to, introduce that color to an object or an artifact or a showpiece, or a piece of cloth will also do, because it is going to radiate, it is going to vibrate. As I said, that Vastu is a science of energy, and today quantum physics has proven beyond doubt that everything in this universe vibrates, it radiates. वो हर छोटी चीज जो हम घर में रखते हैं या हमारे इर्द गिर्द रखते हैं, उसमें एक स्पंदन है, कंपन है. It is constantly vibrating and it is impacting our energy field, our auric field. So orange and yellow in moderation is a very powerful tool to stimulate the minds and the brains of the children correctly. We just recap the Vastu tips and the suggestions so that I don't miss out on any of the tips, because I've made a promise that I'm going to share 19 tips. So the first tip was facing the east. Well, the child should face the east. The second tip was to make your child study in the northeast quadrant, where I said that from 0 to 360 degree to 65 degrees is the northeast quadrant. The third tip was to use protectors to camouflage the sharp edges. And fourth tip is to use these two colors in moderation, orange and yellow. So now we'll move to the last leg of our talk, and I will close after this. The last leg is the most important. It is all about positivizing your spaces. And I have consciously kept this subject in the end because what is said in the end remains in the mind. And at this point in time, we are going through such difficult times. I mean, there is so much of uncertainty, there is so much of anguish, anxiety, there is so much of what will happen tomorrow. I mean, constantly people are worried. So these 6 tips that I want to share will actually positivize, not only positivize, it will enhance the positive energy in your space to the next level, in your homes to the next level. Light a diya outside your homes, near the door, like we do in Diwali. Do you know why we light a diya outside our homes in Diwali? Why this tradition, this custom of lighting a diya outside our homes? Most of the practices and most of the rituals that we follow in our tradition have a scientific meaning to it. Unfortunately, we are not able to articulate it in a correct manner. And that is why this generation kind of feels very repulsive when we talk about these things. But they are such powerful tools, such powerful techniques. When you light a diya near your main door, outside, door being the prime source of energy, दरवाजा आपके घर का ऊर्जा को आमंत्रित करता है, ऊर्जा वहीं से आपके घर में प्रवेश होती है. When you light a diya outside, the energy which is entering your homes naturally gets positivized. Why? Because flame is one of the most powerful, potent forms of energy. There is nothing which is as powerful as a flame, and that is why worldwide, I mean globally, irrespective of the religion that you follow, the culture that you belong to, whatever your rituals, there is always a flame in our ritual. Whether it is a happy moment or a sad moment, a flame is an inevitable part of our lives. What we fail to understand is the positive scientific implication of what a flame can do. When you light a diya, ensure that you light a diya in odd number. Now again, this is very important, very, very important. So in Diwali, there has been this we are following a wrong tradition or a wrong method where we light 2 diyas, on the sides of the 2 door frames. We shouldn't be doing that. In our research, through instrumentation, we have certain very powerful instruments through which we can measure the energy radiations and, the impact of the energy radiations on the environment and on the human beings. So we could very effectively, quantify that when you light 2 flames in even number, they cancel out each other. विषम संख्या में दिए को जलाना है, सम संख्या में दिए को कभी भी नहीं जलाना है. You have to light diyas in odd number, and that is why if you look at our aartis, it is always 3, 5, 7, 9. I mean, it's so amazing. So if you are lighting a diya, please light a diya in odd number. You can do this every evening. This concept of Sandhya Kal is again so beautiful. As I told you, 1 hour before sunset, the UV radiations, the level of UV radiations go down, and that is the time when Earth is inundating so much of positive energy that if you light a diya, that energy gets accentuated, it gets multiplied, it kind of gets, doubled up. I mean, manifold energy manifestation takes place. So lighting a diya is very important. Place a water body. Place a water body in the northeast corner or the northeast quadrant of your homes. This will enhance the water element and which will lead to prosperity. You see, water element, this is the secret, which I'm going to share. Worldwide, if you look at cities, wherever there is a sea or an ocean, you will see those cities prospering. Water as an element has the ability to give prosperity, and that is why Bombay or Mumbai is the financial capital of India. It still gives highest taxes to the country. What it gets in return is, we'll keep it for some other day. Put a water body in the northeast quadrant of homes, which will activate the water element, which will then lead to prosperity. Also, because it is, as I told you, I don't like to repeat this, but we are living in an uncertain times, and that's the reality. It's better we accept the reality, because if we acknowledge the problem, acknowledging the problem leads to solution of the problem. I read it somewhere. So people have been calling me, and they are a little jittery that what will happen with their with their relationship to in their offices. I mean, how will the boss react, because they want to go to work, the boss is calling them, but their area is in the containment zone, or their building is infected, and someone in the building is infected and the building is locked. So they are worried about their relationships. What will happen, whether they will be fired, whether they will share the same equation that they shared earlier. There is a remedy to avoid such a situation. The southwest quadrant or the southwest corner controls the relationship quotient in our homes. Excuse me. Sorry. So the southwest corner controls the relationship quotient in our homes. Try placing an earthen pot or an earthen jar in the southwest quadrant or the southwest corner. If it is possible in the southwest corner, nothing like it. If it is not possible in the southwest corner, you can place it anywhere in the southwest quadrant, which is maroon in color, terracotta. If you can place an earthen pot having terracotta color, or which is made out of clay, the relationship aspect and the relationship factor gets stabilized. It is a very simple and an effective tip to harmonize the relationship disturbances which is giving you sleepless nights on your work front. As far as our relationship with our own family members is concerned, this is going to work. But since we are talking about relationship, let me also give you a very important piece of advice in the form of this tip. Anything which is cracked, immediately chuck it out. It could be a showpiece, it could be an idol, it could be a painting, it could be anything which is cracked. खंडित चीजों को आप immediately घर से निकाल दो. If you have idols which are cracked, wait till the lockdown is called off, and then you can immerse them. But till that time, if you have a murti which is cracked, just with a permanent marker, just inscribe an Om on that murti. Just do a small Om on the murti. The powerful radiations of that Om, which is inscribed on the murti, will arrest the flow of negative energy which is happening through the cracked murti or the iron. Cracked objects, again, we've been able to conclude this with the help of our instrument. So the instrument that I use identifies negative energy. And wherever there are cracked objects or cracked idols, the instrument will take me there and it will open up with full intensity. Because the kind of negative energy that a cracked object emanates is so powerful, it is beyond our imagination. This can lead to fights, this can lead to overall disturbances, this can lead to unnecessary discussion and debates. And the worst place to have any cracked statue, object, artifact, painting is near the dining table. Because people invariably start fighting. This is the feedback that I keep on getting, because I visit so many places. So people tell me that whenever we sit to eat, there is something or the other that goes wrong and we end up fighting. And we also invariably find a cracked object in and around the dining table, or there is a beam that I spoke of cutting the dining table. So if you have any cracked object or an artifact or an idol, please get rid of it. During this period of lockdown, there is one more problem that I would want to talk about. It is again something where which is very common, and the problem is not getting sleep, insomnia. Again, due to whatever disturbed thoughts, you're worried, you're anxious. Now, if there is an exposed mirror, anywhere in your bedroom, please cover it. It doesn't matter whether your bed is reflected in that mirror or not. It doesn't matter. अगर कोई भी आईना है, शीशा है, तो उसे आप immediately cover कर दें, because mirrors re-reflect energies. And what happens is, when you are internally disturbed, mirror will add to that disturbance. Any exposed mirror, cover it. Now the last, but the most difficult. Try switching off your cell phones in the night when you go to sleep. Try to do that. Not only your cell phones, but any kind of, any gadget that emanates that electromagnetic radiation. There is a lot of research happening. Unfortunately, these companies will, these large corporations will never let us know. These electromagnetic radiations are creating havoc in our circadian rhythm, in our sleep cycle. Also, because there is this constant light flashing, there is a message, or there is some kind of a notification, or there is a pop-up. Children tell me when they talk to me that they have this habit of getting up in the middle of the night just to see pop-ups and who's posted what and how many likes they've got. Now, the light that comes from the cell phone disturbs the melatonin secretion in our brains. So when I talk about Vastu, I always tell people that this is a new challenge for someone who's working, in a field which deals with energy. So I mean, when Vastu got incorporated during that time, electromagnetic radiations was not a challenge, because industrial revolution had not taken place. So there was no electromagnetic radiations. Man-made electricity was not there. Today, these electromagnetic radiations are creating havoc. I've been talking to a lot of sleep experts, and they tell me that the best way to sleep and the best way to ensure that the melatonin secretion keeps on happening constantly so that you sleep peacefully, because it is a sleep hormone, is to ensure that you sleep in a pitch dark room. There should be no light, and also switch off all the gadgets. Switch off all the gadgets, and you will get sound sleep. With this, I end my today's talk, and I sincerely hope that these tips, are of great help in this trying times. Thank you. Over to you, Sonali, ma'am.
Uh, Rasesh bhai, of course, your tips have been extremely beneficial, and the number of questions that are poured in are also indicative of how you've already been able to touch people's lives so that they are looking for a little more clarity on those fronts. But before I present the questions to you, uh, allow me, on behalf of all our schools, to mention that you have always supported us, helped us by providing remedies for each of the schools. Jamnabai Narsee in Mumbai, at Gift City, Jamnabai Narsee International School here, as well as Chatrabhuj Narsee School. So we owe you tremendous thanks for providing this kind of expertise in creating the positive and efficient energy at all these institutions. You have also provided remedies for us so that we have positive flow of energy in each of our classrooms. Parents and students, I'm sure you are aware of the fact that all our desks at school all over have rounded edges. I mean, that's just one example. There are many, many other ways in which you have ensured that there is a constant flow of positive energy. I'd also like to mention, for the benefit of those who through the Q&A have requested that Rasesh bhai repeat a few tips that he's already shared. Unfortunately, because of paucity of time, we'd rather focus on the many questions that need to be asked that will give us further clarity. So if you only needed something to be repeated, do look out for our recording of this session that will be uploaded on YouTube on the Jamnabai Narsee Education Series channel. And your questions will be, your request for the repetition will be taken care of in that manner. If we get right into the questions, Rasesh bhai, I'm going to try and make an attempt to present them to you thematically, but there are just so many of them, so you're going to have to excuse me if I can't do that.
No.
To begin with, we have somebody who would like to know that if there is an extended part of the house where the lintel comes in, is that also considered a beam?
Yes, yes. If that portion has been enclosed, if that portion has been enclosed, it is a part of the house. It has to be considered as a beam.
Okay. But Rasesh bhai, what about when you mentioned the door line? I think your diagrams were quite clear in indicating you meant any door of the house, but we have a person asking specifically, was it only the main door or any door of the house? So
No,
would
no,
you
any
please
door of
answer?
the house. Sorry, any door of the house, the main door, the bedroom door, the bathroom door, the balcony door, any door of the house.
Thank you for that. Yes. Do you recommend any particular app that can be used to check directions in the house?
You can use an inbuilt compass which is there in all the smartphones, or you can download. I mean, if you iPhones have a very accurate magnetic compass, and also the best way, if you want to know the directions, just see from where the sun rises. That's the east. When you face the east, on your left is north, and on your right is south.
Okay. What would be the best time of day for the sprinkling of water remedy that you have suggested?
So you can do it in the first half of the day. From sunrise till 12 p.m. when sun goes exactly on top of the head. In astrology, that is known as Madhyan, the position of Madhyan. That is the time. If you sprinkle water, it will give you fantastic results.
Okay, we've noted that. Uh, we have an attendee who would like to request for tips from you to do with decluttering the home or workspace for peace and harmony.
Sorry. Yes, decluttering of the homes is a very important Vastu parameter. Unfortunately, I could not cover it, in these 19 tips. So, whenever you keep unwanted things, whenever you keep things which are dysfunctional, which are not working, which have been just kept in one corner, the energy tends to clog in that corner. And the secret of this science is to let the energy flow. Whenever energy gets clogged or there is any kind of blockage, the impact of that blockage is felt on the occupants of that house. So whatever you've not been using, please give it away. Please, I mean, there is someone out there who needs those things more than us. I go to homes where people have been collecting things, and they've been keeping things for years together, thinking that आज नहीं कल काम में आएगा. अरे वो काम में नहीं आएगा. जाने दीजिए उसको. Don't be a hoarder. I mean, the moment you keep things, you let things get accumulated on the overhead loft, where which is only seen once in a year during Diwali. The movement of energy and the cosmic energy that your house is supposed to get, there will be some kind of an interference because of that clutter. So declutter your space. Every 2 months, declutter your space. It is one of the most integral and important aspects of Vastu.
Thank you, Rasesh bhai. No wonder my mother at home and my mother figure at school, Miss Zeenat, keep making that happen all the time. Okay, which direction would creative people benefit from facing?
Okay, so if somebody is wanting to know which is that direction which promotes creativity, and which will help the creative juices flow, south and southeast are two directions. South and southeast. Now, unfortunately, there is so much of fear psychosis in the minds of the people regarding the south direction, because if you look at the Vastu Purush, south, so south direction comes exactly at 180 degree, and that is where there is a Vastu Purush Devta called as Yama, which is written in the Vastu Purush diagram or the illustration. Now, Yama doesn't actually mean what it means. The meaning of the word Yama is that, but from an energy perspective, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't indicate that. If somebody wants to do any creative work, south and the southeast are two very powerful directions to face.
Okay. Rasesh bhai, somebody is asking if that there is a crack in the mirror in their house and they are unable to replace it currently. Would that suggestion of writing an Om on it work as a solution? Or should they be sticking some chart over it or something?
So they can cover it with a piece of paper, okay, or a cloth or whatever. But because there is a crack, and crack is something which is very powerful and detrimental, do write a small Om with a red marker. It has to be red in color.
Okay, thank you for that. Another question here, which seems to be on the minds of a few attendees, is to the effect of, if there are two rooms that face the east, both rooms will have the northeast quadrant. Is that correct?
No, not possible. It is not possible. So as I said, that from 0 to 65 degree is north to northeast quadrant. The most powerful energy is at the 45 degree angle. The most powerful radiation that that emanates from the northeast direction is at 45 degree angle. So the first priority should be, and one should try and place the study desk between 0 and 45, and the second option is between 45 to 65.
In that case, Rasesh bhai, what if that is where the door line is, that exact measurement that you have just spelled out?
If that is the door line, you need to readjust your desk a bit and not sit in the door.
Okay. And when you say sit in the northeast for attention, you mean that direction of the particular room, or you just mean it from the perspective of the whole house?
So, okay. Now there are two ways to look at this. There are four main directions, okay? North, east, south, and west. And then there are four sub-directions. So cardinals and ordinals. Dishaएं or vidishaएं. So there is one extreme northeast, which is at 45 degree, extreme corner of the house. If it is a square shaped house, the northeast will come exactly where the north and the east meet. Okay, so that is the extreme northeast. Now, if that is not possible, and if somebody, has a bedroom in the southwest, so in the southwest bedroom, you can divide the southwest bedroom into 8 directions and identify the northeast corner or a northeast quadrant in the southwest bedroom or the northwest bedroom itself and use that corner.
Explained. In terms of the suggestion about the remedy you suggested about lighting a diya, outside the main door of the house, is there a particular side where it should be done?
No.
Okay,
no.
and does the main door need? I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
It can be placed anywhere near the main door.
And does the main door need to be left open? And if yes, for how long?
So it is. I mean, ideally, it should be left open till the time the diya gets extinguished. But I mean, the current times are such that nobody wants to keep their main door open, because if people are moving around, then there is that fear. So people are shutting the doors. So I did not say that, but ideally the door should be kept open.
All right, thank you.
It doesn't matter. It does. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter even if the door is shut. The energy tends to enter your homes. So don't worry. Even if the door is shut and you lit a candle or a diya and kept it outside in the passage, the positivity will keep on flowing, because there is always an air gap, on the main door.
Yeah, that's very reassuring. You spoke about the number of diyas outside the door, the odd number suggestion, but is that applicable even for inside the temples, if there is a puja room or a temple within the house?
Everywhere. That goes without saying. I mean, if you are lighting diyas in different, corners of your room, ensure that you light diyas in odd number.
Okay. Rasesh, regarding your suggestion about having a water body at home, could you give a couple of examples of what kind can that be?
It can be a simple flask filled with water. There is no need to keep a water fountain. The whole idea is that the water should keep on circulating. So you can keep a jug, a mug in that corner and keep drinking water from that corner. Because the idea is to circulate water. So you keep on refilling the jug which is kept there, or the flask which is kept there. It doesn't matter. I mean, it can be anything. You can take a small copper vessel and fill it with water, keep it there.
All right. What about if you have mended, let's say, a matka crack with an M-seal design? Is that okay?
Not at all. Not at all. You are drinking water which is disruptive from that matka.
Rasesh, we have a lot of people who are, of course, sending in very appreciative comments saying your talk was fabulous. As I'm scrolling through, we still have many questions here, but as I'm scrolling through them, many of them seem to be very specific to concerns that people have, peculiar to their homes. Questions that don't necessarily answer the broader perspective of what you're trying to provide through this talk. Maybe request you to share how your contact details. How can somebody get in touch with you to seek further specific advice?
So, Sonali ma'am, that you have to suggest they can go on my website, and if there is a way where my web address can be shared, we can do that.
Sure. Okay. Just give me one moment while I scroll through the questions and present maybe a few more to you. Is that all right?
Absolutely.
We have an interesting question here where somebody was asking, what kind of remedy do you suggest to stay away from negative people? Is there something Vastu related that you can give us a tip on?
So when your homes are positivized, It doesn't matter if you come in contact with negative people, because there is a natural protection that you have. You know, your homes can do wonders. It is unimaginable what our homes can do. All our dreams, aspirations, desires, everything can be fulfilled through our homes if there is a right balance of energy, in our living spaces. There is nothing that can disturb us.
That's a very healthy dose of positivity. Um, we have another question to do with, is it all right to place small idols of gods at our work desks?
Ideally not. They should be placed in the in that sacred corner that you've made in the temple. If you have a temple, do not do not place gods all around, because they radiate a particular energy, and there are certain protocols that one must follow if you have gods or goddess, the idols of gods or goddess in and around you. But my suggestion is that it should be placed in a sacred corner in a temple. Ideally, that temple should be made of wood, because wood is an insulator. These days people use different materials for temples. So our research very proves that wood is the ultimate material that should be used when making a temple.
Okay, thank you for that. Is wearing the color black or having black around you considered inauspicious?
So too much of black is not inauspicious, but it is certainly disturbing. Black in excess. Once in a while, if you wear black color, there is no problem. But it should not be a permanent feature.
Okay, Rasesh bhai, like I said, as I'm scrolling through the questions, many of them seem to be very specific to the unique concerns that particular individuals are experiencing or they have in their homes. Um, I will share your website with them so that they can go there, look up for details, how to get in touch with you. Attendees, I'm sure you noticed them on the creative that we had sent out the invitation asking you to register for this webinar as well. We'd like to invite our principal, Ms. Zeenat Bojaboy, to share her thoughts, and I will be back with the details of the website thereafter.
Rasesh bhai, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We are truly indebted for your advice that you have given. Rasesh bhai, one important question. What are the plants, or which are the plants that should never be kept indoors? You had given me that advice. Please share that advice if you don't mind.
Correct. I will. So, money plant is something which one should completely refrain from. If you want to place indoor plants, there are three very powerful plants which can be, placed inside our living spaces. They also help fight indoor pollution. But so money plant when kept with other plants is not a problem. But there are people who keep only money plant, thinking that it will somehow facilitate the flow of wealth in their homes, which is a complete hogwash. Money plant has got nothing to do with money. It is a very smart marketing gimmick. But there are very powerful plants, indoor plants that one can keep. One of the plant is bromeliad. Bromeliad is a plant which neutralizes the formaldehyde that radiates from PVC. Also, Hemilia is a plant which is very powerful in fighting indoor pollution. And the most effective plant, which is also called as a bedroom plant, which converts carbon dioxide into oxygen in the night, is the snake plant, which is also called as mother-in-law's tongue. It is a very popular plant, and you see the snake plants everywhere. I mean, at our airports, if you go to the T2 terminal, there are snake plants all around. In the lobbies of five-star hotels, you will see snake plants. But these plants can be kept inside the confines of our homes, inside our homes, inside the bedroom, and one need not worry about the carbon dioxide factor, because snake plant will convert carbon dioxide into oxygen. And also there is some research which has been done by NASA, which is promoting the snake plant in particular. And also the mother of all plants is tulsi. Not because it is a part of our culture, but we've been doing research on the auric energy of plants. And I want to share something very interesting. Whenever there is an eclipse, whether it is a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse, the aura of the plants tend to deplete, they shrink, because we do the energy measurements. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So when we were trying to figure out the energy which a plant radiates and the shrinkage that takes place, the depletion that takes place during the time of eclipse, we stumbled upon this fact that tulsi is one plant where the aura of tulsi, the energy that the tulsi plant or the tulsi podha radiates, remains constant. It remains constant. It is unbelievable how our ancestors concluded that tulsi is one of the most positive, powerful plants is still a matter of research. So we know that nothing happens to the energy field or the aura of the tulsi plant during eclipse, but why nothing happens is something that we are still trying to figure out. Also, since we are talking about plants, try and avoid using cactus indoors. Cactus can be very effectively used, in the outside areas. If you have a small garden, or if you have potted plants outside the window, okay, you can put cactus there. It will cut the negativity which is coming from outside. But when you keep cactus inside, it has those dual properties where it will cut negativity, but it will also lead to unnecessary fights and arguments and discussion.
Thank you, Rasesh bhai. We'd like to invite our managing trustee, Shri Jairaj Thakkar. He wants to share his thoughts.
Rasesh bhai, I am here to just thank you. You have explained very well, and I can say in a very layman's language, very, very informative and very practical tips. Thank you very much. We really appreciate. Sonal, you can take over.
Thank you, Jairaj bhai. Rasesh bhai, do we have time for the last quick 4-5 questions?
Of course. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. So one question is about the suggestion you made about covering the mirror in the bedroom. Is that only for the night or even during the day?
Even during the day.
So in other words, we should not have mirrors in the bedrooms.
Ideally not.
Yes.
Only you can let that thing come off when you want to use the mirror. With whatever material you are covering the mirror.
For the earthen terracotta pot that you recommended be kept in the southwest corner, should it be empty? Is it all right for it to be empty, or it should have something in it?
It can be empty. You can put some small pebbles, but for God's sake, don't keep any artificial flowers. Artificial flowers are a complete no-no.
Okay. So what about as individuals? Is there any particular color you recommend that one should wear more of for a constant dose of positivity?
So for that, I need to look into the birth planetary chart of that individual. These are all very generic, general tips,
Right.
which will overall infuse positivity in our spaces.
Okay. Is it all right to have an aloe vera plant in the house?
Yes, not a problem.
If I keep this going, there are more and more questions that are going on coming in. I think with that, Rasesh bhai, we can wind this up because you have been very generous with your time. You have been very patient in answering all the questions. And of course, to begin with, you have designed your talk in such a manner that you provided us extremely comprehensive tips in the most practical way. And while, of course, your expertise lies in this particular area, Vastu and astrology, I couldn't help but notice how you seem to be a master at so many studies. You could very well be a psychologist put together, and you've given us very, very helpful tips that are going to benefit everybody in a very big way. Thank you so much for all of that.
Thank you. The pleasure was all mine. Thank you.
Attendees, please note I have used the chat feature that you'll find at the bottom of your screen to share with you the website that you were looking for, so that you can reach out to Mr. Rasesh Shah if you'd like to. And like I mentioned already, it was also on the creative that had been sent out earlier before the webinar was announced. We owe abundant gratitude to our managing trustee, Shri Jairaj Thakkar, to trustee, Shri Sujay Jairaj, for making these very meaningful and impactful webinars possible for us during this particular period of the lockdown. What better way to upgrade ourselves in every possible way while in the safety of our homes? Thank you so much to everyone involved in putting these together. All the people behind the scenes who may not be known to others. We have something very interesting lined up for Saturday. Do look out for those details, which will be sent to you shortly. Continue to join us in large numbers. We hope that these webinars are serving the purpose with which they are made available to you. Have a wonderful day ahead, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.